This is Joe, Tom, and Mecklin. We're hanging out, and this is the first take of our talk that I'm going to be giving with Mecklin and Tom MCing over at Cold Smoke Coffee House. So first takes, those of you that are going to be watching this, understand this is a rough draft. But Tom said freedom, and I smacked him and said, you're right. Freedom has probably been the single biggest journey I've had to take in my life. Freedom when I was a kid meant that I had a buddy. Freedom meant that I could go outside of my house without my mom and dad or siblings' permission. When I was ballpark 8 years old, we were getting ready to move from Minneapolis, Minnesota to Bozeman, Montana. My last summer on South Dudley in Minneapolis. And we were playing some games over at a friend's house. My mom said no, I didn't get to go. And I, for the first time, stood up to my mom and said, I want to go. I want to play with my friends. This is my last summer. Let me go. And I got to go. And it was awesome to have the chance to play with my buddies. And I don't even remember doing it anymore, but I remember standing up to my mom and telling her I wanted to go, and she needed to let me out the door. First time I felt freedom like that. Next time was not really freedom, but it's a fun little story. I was on a pair of wood skis coming down Bridger Bowl in Bozeman, Montana on a ski run. Towards the end of the season, I had wood skis, and I watched a guy go by me with a pair of fiberglass skis. And I knew at that moment in time that next season I was going to own a pair of fiberglass skis. I worked all summer and got them. Freedom meant at that time the ability to go skiing. And skiing to me, even today at 57 years old, when I need to feel strength, when I need to feel power, when I need to feel something where I am secure, I'm still on a pair of skis in a really steep chute, knowing I'm going to win and I'm going to conquer it. That's where my power comes from even today. And then that moment when I was 9, 10 years old on that ski run, it's been a long time. And freedom still to me is that. There's other types of freedom I've struggled with. Being a good little Catholic boy, a lot of guilt. I was steeped in guilt. And I didn't know what the crippling factor of that guilt was until 2 weeks ago, when it was finally gone. That's why this is the first take. Is what does it feel like to have something leave that has been a crippling, crushing weight? And I finally am starting to feel what that's like. And it's hard to put into words. But I can easily tell you all what it was like to drive up throughout my life to different jobs I've had, knowing that at any moment the shoe was going to fall and I was going to be fired. I would do all sorts of regime on my way to work to be ready for what was going to happen, the inevitable. When I was running a halfway house, when I was in my early 20s, when I was working in a treatment center in my middle 20s, when I was working for another treatment center in another location in my later 20s. And even when I was working for my mom and dad, running a store for them in my 30s, I knew the secret would get out, that I wasn't worth what I was being paid, and that I was going to be let go. Even a few months ago, I still felt what it was like to not be worthy. And my usual joke was always, the cross I would carry would be chronic low self-worth. And that was my crippling cross I'd carry for the rest of my life until I finally got to heaven and would check out. I would search all my records looking for a diploma I never picked up, knowing that the diploma was not signed. And I never would finish up the phone call to get that diploma to me, knowing that it would be signed. Because I didn't want to have the affirmation I completed the project. I wanted to always have the weight of I wasn't worthy. I wasn't up to snuff. I wasn't okay. And when me and my wife would get in arguments, I was the first one to put myself in the woodshed, saying, yep, I'm a dick. I'm a dweeb, I'm stupid, I'm ignorant, I'm not worthy, I'm worthless as a husband, I'm worthless as a parent, I'm worthless as an employee, I'm worthless as a friend. I suck. And I'd slam the door of my house. I'd hear all the pictures on the wall shake. My wife would go, oh, he did it again. And I'd get in the truck knowing that she was right. I did it again. And I deserved to be stupid. But it left. It's gone. And when it left, I don't know. How it left, I don't know. Why is it gone? Thank God it is. And I'm very grateful it's gone, because that pressure is not there. That pressure to put myself into the woodshed is gone. And I hope that there's some day that you get to feel that freedom too, because we all go through life under the weight of something. Whatever it is that we choose to pick up, however we choose to carry that weight, why we even choose to carry that weight, who knows? We're human beings. We get to do that with each other. And that's why I have the friends I have, is to help me with understanding that weight. I can't tell you how many times I've called people on the phone that have been my friends and said, hey, this is what I'm facing. And they start to laugh because, yeah, they've seen it. They know it. It's there. And then they help me through it. But I wouldn't put it down. I wouldn't let it go. I wouldn't surrender it. And a lovely woman that I've known most of my life, who's been dead now probably 15 years, she'd always say, not until we become broken, vulnerable, and transparent do things truly leave. And what got me to the point where I could finally get broken enough and vulnerable enough and transparent enough to let this go, it all comes back to my willingness to believe in something that's greater than myself. That I let that power that I believe in out of the box. One of my newest mentors, who replaced one that died, Peter, helped me, kept on saying, Joe, you got God in a box. You've got God in a box. You need to let God out of the box. That was his litany. Just like that older lady would say, broken, vulnerable, and transparent. His litany was God in a box. And letting God out of the box and work in my life, and not saying, you know what, I got it. Don't worry about it. I will take care of it. And just let him help. Be my friend. I would tell people time after time after time for them to be the best Muslim they could be, to be the best Hindu they could be, to be the best atheist they could be, to just not try and stop halfway or 90%. Because if you stop at 90%, there's still 10% undone. And that 10% can be huge. Not finishing the race is a bigger problem than you can believe. And I finally believe I finished my race with that. That I allowed the power that I love and call God out of the box and said, yes, help me. Come into my life and help me get past these hurdles, is what got me the release I needed. And that's going to take one.